Okay, it's time to go to Port Fitzroy. I've been in this little bay for nearly a week now. It's a beautiful little bay. But, I need to get the anchor up and yeah, get the fuck out of here. Hold that pilot on. What I wouldn't give for a spare set of hands sometimes. Okay, Port Fitzroy, here we come. In front of us is a tall ship. I think it's a New Zealand training ship for kids, which is pretty cool. I always love seeing kids out on the water. I think being on these old training ships is a fantastic experience. What is it called? Spirit of New Zealand. Yeah, very fitting. Awesome looking vessel. Looks like it's been kept in really good condition. Probably has some great sponsors, maybe the government even. But yeah, the people who keep these ships going, wonderful pat on the back. Great old vessel. And yeah, as we're passing, there's a crew on board, or professional crew. I'm sure they have all the kids as well, but they're on board with a caulking gun in hand, and yeah, never stops. Never stops. Yeah, it's a cute little space. This is the loading wharf at Port Fitzroy. It's the main wharf where the ferry comes in. It's also where the fuel dock is. You can see the fuel bowsers there. Got my little dinghy tied up. And yeah, it's reasonably protected, but the wind howls down through these hills up here. Absolutely howls through them. The other thing that comes in here is the loading barge as well, so unloading equipment and vehicles, etc. There's not much here. That used to be a little hamburger joint, closed. Something else, closed. Up the top of the hill here is a supermarket, thankfully. But the local club is closed. So yeah, it's a little bit light on, but yeah, I guess it is an island. Okay, so up in front of me is the local shop, which is thankfully open. Glenfern Regional Park. So I'm going to go and visit this and do some walking. Off to the old lady track. So heading up to the lookout, 30 minutes apparently, and then Port Fitzroy Hill, 1 hour. So that's my objective for the day. Well, I have just walked up to the top of the lookout here in Port Fitzroy Township, sitting on top of the main hill. It's quite pretty. It's a fairly steep little hill. Let me give you a look. I would say it's worth the walk, and be careful of the first step down. It's quite steep, but yeah, it's a great view from up here. Looks like Tintin out in the bay on the left. Hit the rear there. I'm in about 14 metres of water. Just making a bit of room. There's probably room to anchor in the in amongst the moorings, but I wasn't sure, so I just dropped the pick out there and came in, got some supplies. So I have some supplies, and then I found all these walking tracks. So I'm probably going to spend a couple of days here and do some walking. just over there, that farm looking place is a nature reserve. So tomorrow my plan is to walk around that and have a bit of a look. I think it has a lot of native New Zealand flora and fauna, so that'll be interesting to see as well. Yeah. As every day in New Zealand, it is beautiful and picturesque. It's pretty hard to find a place that isn't picturesque. I'm going to look to find a shitty place to put on tube. All right, I'm going to have a drink of water, take in the view, and then I'm going to walk back down this hill. Well, I've just come back off the top of the hill, and it was quite a steep little hill up to the lookout. Now I'm doing the grandma track, which I'm not sure it's even suitable for grandmas. It's also steep, but here we are. There's a beautiful little waterfall. Let me give you a look. Down there, through the shrubbery, there's this lovely little waterfall down there. Imagine it'd be a roaring waterfall in a couple of months when winter kicks in. It's been a bit dry here. About a week ago, this place would have been awesome to film. But yeah, here we are, walking through more quite spectacular undergrowth. Lots of water, lots of moisture. It's a really pretty bush. Easy to walk through, nice and cool. Basically rainforest. Let me give you a look at the waterfall from the other view. That's it down there. Yeah, it's really quite spectacular bush. I don't know if it comes out in the video, but walking through it is very pleasant. I'm quite enjoying it. It's nice to get off the boat, stretch my legs, get a bit of green, and suck in some nice fresh air. This place is well worth a walk. It's pretty cruisy really in the big scheme of things. There we go. Nice little creek. The only thing I don't see much of is wildlife. I know New Zealand's known for its bird life, but yeah, you don't see much of it. Yes, there's plenty of fresh water coming down the hill, and plenty of hill. It's probably the consistent thing here in New Zealand is hills. So I think if you're born here, you are naturally developed for walking up yamas. So just heading back to the boat now, get some supplies. We're probably going to move positions and then swing around. I don't like this side at the moment, it's starting to get a little bit rolling and choppy. It's time to move. So we were anchored here last night. And up until about 8 o'clock it was blowing 30, 35, 40 knots, gusting down the mountain from behind me. And then at about 9 o'clock it swung around and came from the west, which wasn't great because I had 60 metres of chain out. So it's about 15 metres deep here. And yeah, this bloke in front of me anchored close to me, so I sort of come up pretty close to him. But the anchor was well and truly dug in, we weren't going anywhere. Well, here's my generator cover on my generator. It's a little bit big, but hey, not bad for a first time attempt. Probably need to do that. These are a bit short, we'll make these a bit shorter so that it covers everything. Rather the hem, I need to put a decent hem on it. And yeah, but it goes on pretty well. It shouldn't come off. And there's my generator. It's a decent little unit. GT 2500 ESI. I love the fact that it's just push button, has remote control as well. Yeah, the only downside I would say is it probably uses a bit more fuel than the Honda. But yeah, 4-stroke, great little unit. super simple.
Un americano.
Silencer.
I can only give you a suppressor. It'll dampen the decibels and dislocate the sound source.
Can you do it?
G'day and good morning. I'm in sunny Great Barrier Island off Auckland, and I'm just getting ready for my trip to Tonga. So I've secured crew, or at least I've got crew who are going to attend a shakedown sail. So I do a shakedown sail before I go sailing, and the intent is to make sure everybody's suitable for offshore sailing, and I like them and they like me, and they're not going to lose their fill halfway to Tonga in the middle of the ocean where I can't ask them to leave. So I've been trying to work out how the fuck I fit them all in. So I have got 4 bunks, but when you live on a boat, and most of the time you're on the boat by yourself, you tend to start filling those 4 bunks with shit. So that's what I've been doing also, and now I need to make space. So let me show you what I've been up to today. So I've got a couple of bunks over here. There's a bottom bunk and a top bunk. The top one's not so bad, it's just bedding and some charts. So, and a little container for storage, which what I do is I put storage containers on the floor for shoes and things so they don't slide all over the boat, and each person gets a storage container. They can put their shoes, life jackets and things like that in. And on this side I've got my own shit. I've got, I live out of a bag. I've lived out of a bag since I was in the military. Still living out of a fucking bag, but hey, that's my choice. And I had loads of books, so I've been trying to rationalise my books. It's really hard to rationalise your books when you like books. So I've been trying to go through all the books. So I've got a pile of books that I'm going to get rid of. I'll probably collect more books at the next book swap, but I've been going through. So I'll show you one of my storage holes. I've got a little hole down here in my table which is supposed to be for wine, but I don't drink a lot of that shit anyway. So now it's books, primarily navigation books and video editing type books. Not that I'm much good at video editing, I should read them again. But yeah, that's one of my little cubby holes for books, and that's chockers now. And I need to make 4 bunks, so I pretty much have got 4 bunks. I just need to rationalise a bit more stuff, and probably store some of my own personal effects in more discreet places. But we're getting there. I've got a few books on the things that interest me at the moment, like the Pacific. I'm going to read Kentucky again. It's a great book. A little bit of Lonely Planet stuff. It's always handy. Some books on coast watchers, which I find fascinating. The old hard bastards who were pivotal to surviving World War II with the Japanese. Getting into paleo type foods and diets, so I want to read a bit more of that. And then on this side I've got a whole pile of weird wonderful shit. Some stuff I've read, some stuff I want to read, so I'm just going to try and read some of that. And obviously a Pacific pilot, which is always handy. And this is just a box of shit books that I have collected. Some I've read, some I haven't been inspired to read, and I will find a home for them at the next boat marina swap, and they will find a new home. But I've got a top bunk here, which has just got my bag and some stuff in there. Normally I keep my fishing rods up there, so I'm going to clear that out over the next couple of days. And then I've got a bottom bunk down here. So how it typically works on my boat is crew have these bunks in the main cabin, depending on whether I get 2, 3 or 4 people. With 4 people it's pretty tight, but that's their choice. It's also my choice. On this occasion 1 or 2 of the crew are going to leave when we get to Tonga probably, and that's okay. That frees up a bit more space on the boat. They're on board for 4 to 6 weeks. They look like interesting people, so it's not so bad. I quite like that. And if it doesn't work out, then I ask them to leave, or they leave if they don't like the situation. And when we get to Tonga, I've also got a V-berth. So up forward, I've got a V-berth just past the shower toilet. Now, it is not the most desirable V-berth in the world because it attaches to the shower toilet. So whoever designed this boat was not terribly inspirational. I don't know anybody who wants a V-berth on the shower toilet unless it's just an owner's berth. But yes, at the moment it's just full of more shit, diving equipment, odds and sods. There's no shortage of stuff on a boat that you've got to try and store. So if someone wants this, then the bunk's going to have to be vacated for diving equipment and other gear. Tanks I can put up on the deck. That's where I store them generally. Dive gear can probably go on top of the compressor. But yeah, I've still got like spare sails, storm sails and things like that. Some of that stuff will get rigged on the deck. But yeah, you still got to try and store buckets and things. So yeah, it's always a challenge. I could just go solo. I actually thought about going solo this year to Tonga, and it would have saved a lot of ass pain. Finding crew is always challenging. It's hard work, lots of negotiation. People ring you up and then they just ghost you. It's quite frustrating. Surprisingly, I had quite a few young people who didn't ghost me. They said hello, or I said hello to them, and then they came back to me and said, no, it's not going to work for me, or the dates don't work, and do you have a passage later on? Which is great. There's so many young people who just ghost you on crew selection sites, and I guess they're used to doing that on their dating apps or whatever the fuck they do in their lives, or social media, but it's just plain rude. The least you could do is respond and go, hey, thanks, not interested. Because next time they apply, I've already got a record of them, I just tell them to fuck off. So yeah, but there are some people with manners, and manners don't cost very much, as my mother used to say, and try and use them when you can. But yeah, that's my job today. It's not hot and it's not cold, so I've got my not hot, not cold shirt. I actually took the sleeves out of this flannel on the way to Vanuatu. I needed polishing rags, so I figured I'm not going to use that in Vanuatu. I just took the sleeves off and they became brilliant polishing rags. Problem is, it's starting to get cold now in Vanuatu, and sleeves would have been really handy about now. And I can't buy a shirt out here at the Great Barrier, but that's life. So it's a halfway shirt. It's not quite cold, not quite hot, but really sleeveless flannel. Yeah, so today, just finding more spaces for all the shit that I accumulate. Well, like every day in New Zealand, as I say time and time again, it's very beautiful. And today is no different. The last few days have been fucking terrible. Like the last couple of days I've had 30 to 40 knots gusting off the mountains, just hasn't stopped raining at all. Good for filling up the water tanks, not much good for anything else. Today is spectacularly beautiful. It's not hot, it's not cold, it's just perfect. And here we are. We're just out exploring